All right. Today is a good day, my friends. Why that is we are going to be talking all about this 1974 Citroen 2CV Camionette. Confront the elephant in the room. I'm wearing pants? Oh my gosh, that must mean that it is the rare time in South Texas that it is actually cold. So don't get too distracted. This is actual normal clothing on me, huh? Now, if you're familiar with my channel, awesome, you rock. If you aren't, well, then you should certainly subscribe if you enjoy slightly annoying but very informational classic car, vintage car, antique car videos. Then press subscribe right down there and hit the bell icon. That way you are notified anytime I post a video. All right, like I like to do, we are obviously first going to talk about the history, go all the way back in time about Citroen. All right, we're going to go all the way back to its founder, Gustave Citroen. Whether or not I'm saying all that properly, it's a gamble in the wind, I'll tell you that much. Andre was a pretty top-notch guy. Now, his first company that he started was the Citroen Gear Company. Now, he was well known for these gears being very smooth, okay? They were smooth, they were silent. That's exactly what you want in a gear, right? Exactly. Now, what they were also known for is that they were in a chevron styling. You would see that chevron styling and marking later on in the use of the Citroen Automobile emblem. All right, now we're going to jump around in history a little bit, but you're going to like it, I promise. Now, Gustave Citroen, and we are just going to call him Andre from now on because I love that name. Now, Andre, he was a reserve captain for the French in World War I. Now, what he noticed was there was an opportunity to better serve his country by manufacturing artillery. I'm going to struggle with that word for a while. He noticed that he thought he could produce artillery at a much faster rate. And a gentleman that had already owned a gear manufacturing company prior obviously might be a good guy for the job. He was. Now, another interesting thing during that the time that he was producing artillery, he also was one of the first major employers to offer social support for his employees. Now, how he did that was by having medical and dental clinics within the manufacturing site. He had a store. He had a school. All right. Now, at the time, you can imagine World War I, that means that probably a lot of his staff was female. Male counterparts were off fighting the war. So, Jesus. Any little bump scares me over there. So, thank you, Andre. That was pretty cool of you.
Make a wrong move and you lose, no doubt.
a forward-thinking kind of guy. So he realized that there would be a time, come peacetime, right, that he would not need to build artillery anymore. And he realized that there was an opportunity in the very young and competitive market of manufacturing automobiles. And it would be at this thought that he decides to enlist a gentleman from Panhard, a very talented engineer, to create a low horsepower vehicle that is very robust, well equipped, and most importantly, less expensive to produce than his rival automotive competitors. All right. Now, the car that he would ask to be engineered by the talented Louis de Fresnay from Panhard would be the Type A. And really, you can think of, in my opinion, the Type A was kind of the catalyst, if you will, the first domino to what would be the idea of the 2CV, because it was extremely reliable, extremely cheap, and well-made. All right. Interruption for a little fun fact. Now, André Gustave Citroen was one of the first hype men, okay? He was a hype man before it became popular to be outlandish. Yes. What he did was use the Eiffel Tower as the world's largest advertisement sign, and you will indeed find that in the Guinness Book of World Records. Now, what he also did, which was quite clever and, in my opinion, for the public good, he sponsored French road signs that, whether they just needed to be put up in general or they needed to be replaced after the war, he sponsored them, but he also, with each sponsored road sign, he put the Citroen Gear emblem on it. All right, now we are about to have a couple of ups and downs in this story, so just put on your seatbelts and bear with me. Now, Andre wanted to be innovative. And indeed he was. Now, he decided to create a vehicle called the Traction Avant. And that car would be so innovative that 3 of its features that it had would still be used in today's current vehicles. And now some of you might be curious, what should we be thanking André Gustave Citroen for? Well, the 3 features you should be thankful for are 4-wheel independent suspension, a unitary body with no separate frame, and front-wheel drive. All right, now here's where the down happens. Unfortunately, creating the Traction Avant, which we all can be appreciative for, put Citroen in some financial difficulties. They had also been renovating a factory, and then poor Andre evidently had some gambling problems, and all that created a perfect storm in which they had to be bailed out. Now, the French government asked their major creditor, which at the time was Michelin, asked Michelin if they could help. And so what they did was they took over the company, and then sadly, which I think the year was 1935, sadly within that year, André Gustave Citroen would die of stomach cancer. All right, so we got that downer done with, but necessary to say, okay? Now we're going to talk about the Michelin ownership period of Citroen, okay? But before that, thank you, Noasis Brewery, for being my Liquid Delight sponsor. And I've been talking a lot, so I certainly need... Ooh. All right, now I'm actually going to really enjoy talking about this Michelin time period because, for one, it includes a little bit of Nazi rebellion, and for 2, we actually finally get to hit upon the 2CV. I know it's very roundabout, but you leave here knowing more about car history, which is the goal. Delicious. All right, now we are going to fast forward just a bit. We're going to cut through Pierre Michelin being the president of Citroen, and then unfortunately dying in a car crash, and we are going to go straight to the leadership of Boulanger, or Boulanger. I don't really know if I'm pronouncing it right. And if I am pronouncing it right with Boulanger, thank you, Jason Early, for your help with that. My buddy evidently took French in high school, probably for a girl. Now, Boulanger, or Boulanger, whatever, he I love him in this story, okay? So he is operating Citroen while it is occupied by the Nazi forces, okay? You can imagine that sucks. But Boulanger is like, I'm gonna make it suck for them a little bit more. He absolutely refuses. He will not speak in person to Ferdinand Porsche. He also will not talk to any of the Nazis. He will not communicate with them in person. He only uses intermediaries. That's funny. Now, the best part is that he did a clever rebellion, all right? Now, he mandates what you would call a slow production on all the vehicles. These vehicles are just being produced and used by the Nazis. So he dials back what their normal production time period would be. But my real favorite part is that he also cleverly asks his engineers and mechanics to put the dipstick notch in the wrong place, thus creating engine seizures for all those little Nazis driving their Citroens around. Now, fun fact, on the 2CV was the first time for Michelin to introduce the radial tire. All right. Now, this video would be no fun if I did not mention some of the hilarious quotes that came about once they released the 2CV in Paris in 1948. Now, one American journalist said, "Does it come with a can opener?" Pretty funny. And then the best one is a British journalist said, and let me get this perfectly correct, "Looks like the work of a designer who has kissed the lashes of austerity with a masochistic fervor." That's funny. So yes, this goofy yet precious 2CV was met with some bullying responses at its debut in 1948, but it immediately reached a 3-year waiting list. That's wild. That then quickly went to 5-year waiting list. And interesting fact, at the time, a used 2CV was worth more than a new one because you didn't have to wait for it. And purchasing was given priority to those with occupations that might warrant it. For example, doctors, midwives, and country vets. All right, now let's talk about the fact that this is a camionette or fourgonnette 2CV. Now, the idea behind that was pretty clever. Citroen wanted a vehicle that a tradesman could use during the week, and he could also use it on the weekend to transport his family. How they did that was removable and collapsible rear seats and these side rear windows. All right, now let's enjoy a little look-see within. Now you'll notice these are some flip windows. That was cheaper than having roll-up windows. Here we are, and these, since I was a kid, we've had this 2CV for a long time. Since I was a kid, I was always fascinated by these seats that are basically a trampoline, and if you will, a hammock. It's pretty awesome, but they're also really comfortable. It makes for a real fun drive. Here we go. And as you imagine, like I said, this was made post-war time, so not a surprise that you have a sparse interior. Nice little workspace in the back there. That's adorable. Sparse instrument panel. I hesitate to say panel. Gonna do a drive video on this soon. So that should be interesting. My dad said some people are scared about driving the 2CV clutch. My dad said it's easy, so I'm not scared to give something a go, that's for sure. You'll notice these clever little, your lock and unlock. Pull that up. Right there, it goes in. Here we go. How you close your door right here. Yeah, I kind of love them. I love this, just look at that. Itty bitty bitty. I just adore this car, and I hope you do too. Now we should go ahead and take a look at the engine, shall we? Now, feasted your eyes upon is a air-cooled flat twin 4-stroke 375cc engine. And like I said, they didn't mean for this to be a fast car, and also you can guess, judging by the aerodynamics, that they didn't mean for this to be a fast car. They just wanted it to be a car that kept going. Now, granted, the WWII was not met with stellar reviews when it first came out. This car was produced for over 40 years. That's a long time. 1948 to 1990, and fun fact, those last 2 years were in Portugal. But what's important about this vehicle is not its looks. It's its place in history and the impact it made in post-World War II France. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this fun little video we did about the Citroen WWII. Obviously, I omitted some facts for time, and I just truly enjoy the history of this vehicle and the history of Citroen, so I hope you did too. It's pretty cool. If you have not already subscribed, hit the little subscribe button there and then the bell icon so that anytime I pop out a video, you can enjoy it too. If you have something nice to say, well, by all means, say it down in the comments below. If you have anything negative to say, keep it to yourself or I'll track you down. I'll do it. And until next time, cheers. And cheers to the fascinating characters that were behind Citroen. Andre Gustave Citroen, Boulanger, the gentlemen, the executives at Michelin that I did not discuss because we weren't going to have time. Cheers to all the fascinating characters in the early automotive game.